What's up, guys? So for today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to replace your front disc brakes. I already took the wheel off. If you didn't see the video how to remove your wheel and how to change your tire, links in the description box for you guys to go check that video out. But this should be the general same setup for most cars. Some have the disc brakes on the front of the rotor, some have on the back of the rotor, but it's going to be the same general process. You're going to want to remove the caliper, and then you're going to get to your brake pads, and then you change out your brake pads. So we're going to get into that in today's video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, because every like helps. And if you know anyone that wants to get into doing their own car work, or if you want to get into doing your own car work, share this video. Watch this video, comment any other things you want to see get done, and let's get into it. Okay guys, so to remove your brakes, after you take your wheel off, you're going to jack it up. I'm supporting it with a jack stand for safety. There is two nuts back here, one right here and one down here. They are 14 millimeter nuts, so you're going to want to get yourself a ratchet. You're going to want to get on here and you're going to loosen them. Okay, so you're going to want to turn it down towards the ground to loosen it out. So once you get them both loose, and you're not going to want to pull one all the way out, you're going to want to loosen them both first. I'd say maybe halfway, and then, because if you loosen one all the way out, you're going to have a really hard time getting the other out. Okay, so once you get those two bolts out, guys, your brake caliper should wiggle off like so. So you're going to want to pry your brake caliper off. If you can't get it off, should come down. You want to be careful, because right here is your brake line, so you don't want to break off your brake line there, but you want to kind of set this somewhere that you're not stretching your brake line. I'm gonna grab something. So once you get that off, your brake pads should come out. Relatively simple here, like so. There's that, and then that's the taking it apart. Now if you look here at your brake caliper, right inside your brake caliper here, there's these two pistons in here. You're going to want to press those down. Okay, these two pistons in your brake caliper, you're going to want to push them down. There's a number of ways to do this. You could take your old brake pad, stick it right here, and get a clamp, and then compress the clamp to push them both in at once. Or you can just take your clamp and push each individual one down. It doesn't really matter which way is in there for this. I'm gonna grab my clamp. Hang on. Take your clamp, set it. You're gonna want to loosen it till it fits, and you're gonna set it like so. And once you have it on there, you simply twist your clamp down like so, and if you see, it is pushing that piston back inside the hole. Okay, all right. And then because of how big this is, you're gonna need to pull it off and do it to the other side. This is probably the safest way to do this, because then you're not damaging your pistons at all. and then take it off, and boom, 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 nice and flat sheet. Okay, so once you get your pistons pressed in there and you pop your old brake pads out of here, you want to make sure your rotor is smooth. If you have any like really big grooves in your rotor, you might need a new rotor. So you just want to make sure running your finger over it, you don't feel any big gashes or anything like that. And then for brake pads, I'm using the Duralast Golds. They're a little more expensive than your basic gold pad, basic brake pads, but these seem to do pretty well with my car. You can use whatever brake pads you like. Just make sure when you go and pick them up that they fit for your specific vehicle, because brake pads do change size depending on vehicles. And if you drive like a pickup truck or something, your brake pads are going to be a lot bigger than this. Alright, so 2 brand new brake pads. Now, it is bent at the top, so the bent part is going to go towards the outside of your wheel. And for these, it has a little like nub here, and there's a groove in the actual brake caliper holder, so you can slide your brake pad in. Now in theory these should just slide in. You want to make sure they're in the holes. You know, push them in, okay, and don't forget the one in the back. Sometimes, there you go. Okay, so once you have your brake pads back in, it should look something like that. Okay, and then you're going to take your brake caliper and slide it back over. Now, because you press those pistons in, it should just kind of slide over the brakes like so. And then you want to make sure those holes line up. And while you have it, you want to slide the caliper bolts back in, and then good. So there's the one up here. If the hole is lined up, it should tighten by hand. If the hole isn't lined up, you're gonna have to wiggle a little bit to get it lined up. It should line up relatively easy. No, come on. The hole's lined up. Once you get the bolts lined up here and right here, you're going to tighten them down with your ratchet. You can do this with a hand tool, and if you want, you can hand tighten them down and then hit them with your ratchet, or with a regular wrench. But you want to make sure they're like not over tight, but you definitely don't want to be able to loosen them with your hand. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then the same with the one down here. One other thing you do want to look at while you're down here is your old brake pads. If you take them and push them together like so, you can see that they're worn a little unevenly here and a little bit over here. So that's a sure sign that you need an alignment on your vehicle. Highly recommend Firestone. They were So one thing I forgot to mention, guys, after you finish putting your brakes on, you should get into the driver's seat and pump your brakes till they're stiff, because if you don't, they'll be really, really loose. So make sure after you change your brakes that you do go in your car, pump the brakes till they're stiff again. If you don't, your brakes are gonna be really soft until you do. One of the supporters of the first video, or second video on the channel. So Firestone has a great alignment setup if you need to get your alignment done. Also, that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so now that your brakes are back on here, you have successfully changed your brake pads, and you just want to make sure you can't pull this out at all. You shouldn't be able to, being that the bolts are in there. And okay guys, so that was a video on how to change your brakes on your car, your front brakes on your car. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful to somebody, and now you guys can say you know how to change your own brakes. One thing that I don't think I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you change your brakes on one side of your car, so if I did the passenger side here, you need to do the opposite side as well. Also with things like your rotors, your tires, if you're going to change your tires, you should do 2 tires at a time at least, or all 4. And then brake pads, rotors, you should do both sides, passenger and driver side. You don't have to do all 4 necessarily, but you definitely want to do at least the 2 front or the 2 back. You don't want to just do one or the other, because then it'll wear unevenly. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see, because there's tons of things that I need to get done to this car and the 300. So there's tons of different things that I can do. Also, all my social media is in the description box for you guys to go check out. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. I believe the Facebook page to the channel is in the links as well. And I will put the link to how to change your tire in there, so you guys can go check that out in case you don't know how to take your tire off when you get a flat and replace it. So good vibes, good cruising.